the game. Directly into the game. So the game's Brandish. It's not that popular as a speedrun, but yeah, I think it's really cool. It's a really good speed game. Lots of speed tech in it. Starting off with increased game speed. And message speed was the other one. I chose a random color, because colors are nice. So the main comment that people have about first seeing the game is they think I'm warping around everywhere. But it's just how the camera works. So the camera, it's like it's behind my character at all times. So when I rotate, it goes like 90 degrees at a time instantly. Okay, so this is warp magic. It's extremely powerful for going fast. The cost is 1 mana bar, and it lets you go anywhere you've already been. So anything that's revealed on the map, you can go to. So like here, I can cut back a bunch of backtracking, and it's already paid for itself. The gameplay, it's just normal dungeon crawler rules. You find keys, you find hammers, and use them to like get through walls, open doors. Like standard dungeon crawler stuff. Coming up, I have a named key. So there's about 10 of these per tile set. And they work in particular doors. So that key only fits that door. That is a maze, a pitfall maze. But I knew the solution, so I didn't fall. Yeah, the camera does take some getting used to. But once you're there, you can follow along. The category is no major glitches, any percent. There has recently been new major glitches discovered, and so we were able to make a new category out of those glitches. So like instead of doing all the floors, I can just skip to the end and save like tens of minutes. But this is no major glitches. So I'm going to play all the floors, fight all the bosses. Except for side quests. Those I get to skip. So here's a cool trick you can do. You start the rock rolling and then teleport behind it. And that gets me a key and more inventory space. So I'm doing a route based on the tasks for the game, and I call it Magic Swordsman route because I pick up this fire magic here, and you'll understand fully when I get to the ninja boss, because there I max out my magic stat. Okay, that there was a minor glitch. I'm playing on the Japanese version of the game because you can do a lot of minor glitches, and that one let me skip a cutscene. Coming up is a boulder clip, but that's not exclusive to Japanese. Just walk right through the boulder. It's not even there. So the route I'm doing, I chose it because it's interesting. It's not really the fastest route, but it's very interesting in how it abuses the game mechanics specific to this game. So like there's an experience system that gives you experience over time instead of right away. So you can use that to gain bonus experience by doing it all at once, compared to leveling up gradually. So if you do it all at once, you get bonus experience. And so I'm going to do that. That's the basis of the route, really. By the way, there's an experience system. But more on that later. So here's another minor glitch. Essentially, whenever you see a text box, it's a minor glitch. I think that's the safe way to look at it. But when they ported it to the US release, they patched the text boxes. So they like double fixed some of the glitches. The main initiator's text boxes. I'm gonna do it again here. Grab this. So the first time I did it, despawned all the monsters, and this one here, it prevents the pushers from loading. It doesn't despawn, it prevents them from loading. So the text box, it prevents a trigger from activating. And so that's like a load trigger or a switch or even a floor transition. So like it prevents that from happening. The major glitch categories use the door transition so that you can like corrupt the map data, essentially. Oh, that's scary. The dinosaur is a one-hit kill, by the way. Like any good RPG, you just skip all the encounters. So the enemies here are a very poor experience, but as I get to the bosses, I'm gonna kill the experience effective enemies and gain levels real fast. There's more of that warp magic to save on backtracking. This floor has actual warps in it, so it's not just the camera. You're constantly warping around. A big part of this game, in the speedrun sense, is inventory management. Like you can save minutes by just having a clean inventory. Here we go, save some more backtracking. Here's what the map looks like, by the way. But I've been teleporting it everywhere. Yeah. So, in general, the route is about getting to the bosses and killing them as fast as possible. You know, not delaying too long at any point. Right next door. So here we're coming up on the frogs. The frogs are the first hurdle in learning the game. There's two types of AI. There's wandering AI and there's aggressive. Frogs are aggressive. So if they see you, they chase after you. But the dwarves are just wandering. And they don't attack until you get close to them, as in directly next to them. So only very specific enemies that are aggressive AI. Okay, so here I'm getting strength level ups. Okay. I don't want him coming in. Dwarves are the best experience for this tile set, the runes. They also take a bit of concentration. I die in one hit to dwarves. So the level up system is based on number of uses. So if I use my fist a bunch of times, then I gain fist ups. And that's what I'm getting here. So I have a bunch of levels in fist now. It's actually just strength, so all kinds of weapon damage. And I need these strength points going into the boss. So that was a lot of frogs. So I need a certain number of uses of fist before reaching the boss so that I do damage to it. Okay. Put on my sword. So now I'll be able to kill the enemies pretty fast. Killing enemies is a change in the Japanese route compared to English route. And that is due to attack animations for not clear reasons, but yeah. So I need more levels because my attack animation is slower. And that means I can't avoid the boss's attacks. So I need to be able to tank a hit from the boss coming up on the next floor. So I need to kill extra enemies just to survive. Yep. So in English you can turn down the game speed and just dodge all of his attacks. But before that, we have a boss. A wizard boss. It's like one room before the crab boss. For some reason there's back-to-back bosses. Okay, drop, ring. Here's that inventory management. It's a lot faster to drop items than to go to the dimensional box and change them to move them around. Okay, one more dwarf. They kill me in one hit still. I probably have enough health to survive, actually. But you always assume that you die in one hit. So I'll do a save. Here's the first boss. In this version I fight it at full speed. Because it's faster. So the first goal is to desynchronize the boss. So now he's out of sync with the others. The other two are fake. On English you can turn down game speed, and you can get in twice as many hits per fireball cycle. Here I gotta play on fastest because I can't do that. And because of the extra levels, I can survive more hits. So it just works out to be faster to go full speed. very RNG plus. Weapons do have limited durability, yes. This sword has 22 uses. I used a durability potion on it because I need it for these two fights and to kill an enemy later on. This boss is a bit harder. I died to a side attack. Hasn't happened recently, but when I was learning it, it happened all the time. And again, fastest speed because it doesn't really make a difference. There's some health potions at the end of the floor I'll pick up. Okay, got him. So the baby spiders heal him, or crabs, sorry. But mostly they just get in the way. Here's lore. I was thinking about showing off some major glitches, but we're making good pace, and it's hard to focus. Okay, so health potions are this one. Okay, that chest is very easy to get an accidental glitch off of. Because treasure chests create text boxes, and if you have a text box going into the cutscene, then it glitches out the cutscene. I'll do that on the next cutscene, because it's actually pretty cool. But this one has a separate glitch. I'm holding right as I exit the cutscene, and it's gonna walk me through a wall. So I went through that wall and skipped half the floor. Just because the game lets you move before you're loaded. Okay, so now we're in Tower 2. And this is just more dungeoneering. I'm trying to save weapon durability because there's some archers coming up I have to kill. And that means avoiding enemies instead of killing them. If I press L and R, I can rest. And that gives me health and mana back. So if the screen goes black, that's what I'm doing. It's a way to save on resources. So this is it's like a side quest floor, meaning I can skip it. But there's a couple of adventures down there that you can save and they give you a reward. Finding your way around the maze, there's some marked walls that get increasingly hard to see. And that was one of them, so that's how I knew that I could use a hammer there, because there's a black spot on the wall. Yeah, I'll say it again. Like every time I turn my character, the camera like instantly jumps 90 degrees. So you can tell my facing with the compass at the top of the screen. Like right next to the floor name. The fastest way to move is with jumping. It saves a couple frames every time you do it. So that's why I'm jumping all the time. Plus, it gets you over enemies. And if you time it right, you can clip into enemies. So that was another marked wall. But that one was a walk-through wall. That's a sword I'm going to use for the next boss. So I'm trying to maximize my levels and my weapons as I reach the boss. So here's some button mashing. Button mashing is actually the fastest way to move. Like, there is a rhythm to the jumping, but mashing hits the rhythm, so it works too. It's just not something I can keep up the whole run. So other runners of this game, there's Breakdown and PJ. Breakdown made the original route, and he came up with this trick here. The text box is a Japanese trick. You didn't find that. But the falling down the pit and then teleporting, that was Breakdown. So the idea is you fall in the pit and it gives you vision of the corner tile. Got him. And then, once you reload the floor, you can just warp to that tile you got vision of. But yeah, most of us started off playing the English version. It's a little more fun to play, I find. But on the other hand, Japanese version has all the glitches in the world. Like before my run here is like trying to find shiny enemies. Like you give enemies random color palettes and then try to find the shiny ones. So that was a lot of fun. But that's a major glitch we won't get to see today. So yeah, Breakdown made the initial route. I don't know if the task came first or if he made his route first, but that's in the olden times. And then from there, PJ and I just made improvements on it. Like PJ found the boulder clips and some of the warps past objects. And I found some of the clips into pushers, which you don't get to see. And I found all the Japanese glitches. Plus, there's a really cool New Game Plus glitch. Yeah. The game doesn't have New Game Plus, but you can make it have it. It's really cool. All you gotta do is take a game over, and then it won't clear the memory from when you game overed, so you can start a new file with with the data from the other file. Was this a PC game? This was a PC 98 game. Yeah. I think that's what it's called, PC 98. It had another port, Mega Drive or something. Old PC-based consoles. But, at least of the systems I recognize, it has the Famicom and SNES, and more recently it had a PSP remake. And on the PSP, they slow down your turns, so you can actually see what's happening. The only problem with that is it slows down the entire game, and so it's not that fun if you're used to the turns. But if you just want to try out the game, the PSP version is good. Plus it has more content. They add extra expert levels. And the expert levels are a lot of fun. So this is boss of tower. I'm just raising my strength level. That's probably good enough. I don't really count. Kinda should. Okay, I overdid it. Overdid it by a lot. Okay, so here. Let's try that again. So it's going to glitch the cutscene, and I'm going to use a mana potion to fix it. The order things happened is the treasure chest opened, then the cutscene started, then the treasure chest text box went away. Let's take health. The text box going away canceled the cutscene, but then the text for the cutscene started. So I had to use a mana potion on that first frame before I'm loaded in. And that gave me a mana text box, which closed the cutscene text box. And so that's a cool thing that you can do that just changes the color palette. Okay, so now we're deep into the route I'm going for. This is a side quest I'm doing. Gotta help a water nymph. Someone blocked off the water, so I'm gonna release it. So yeah, we'll get back to that on floor 6. Bats are super deadly. Until I get to floor 6. This is another maze that messes with your camera. Every intersection, it rotates it randomly. Didn't even see the skeleton this time. And then those last 3 didn't rotate at all. Yeah, it rotates randomly, and you just gotta find your way through while it's rotating. You look at the compass if you want. I actually forgot to pick up a safety, because talking while playing is very distracting. So I'm gonna take extra damage from all these bats now. And I got the bad skeleton pattern. I'm trying. We get both skeletons on that little path there. There's no way by. Yeah, back on Tower 9 I was supposed to pick up some more armor. But that's okay. I'm not supposed to take any hits anyway. Got him. This part I go through with invisibility, so it's fine. This part I'm gonna save. Bats are no joke. Okay. I got 2 of them, but they might respawn. Nope. I don't really know all the respawn points. Like, some enemies respawn and others don't. Okay, so here I'm gonna steal this shield for money. So I'm gonna do a corner warp. The switch to open this area is like right here. Right there. But I'm just gonna do a corner warp because it's faster. Okay. So yeah, we're into the new route that I've selected. So I'm picking up extra money. That's what that shield and armor is about. It's just extra money. And hopefully I don't need that earlier armor too. So the strat for the boss coming up is to max out my defense, so I can take all of its hits. And then we're gonna just trade blows until he dies. And that's how the TAS does it. Except the TAS, it can exit the menu and block every attack, so it doesn't have to raise its armor. So I went from basically starter armor to, I think it's 3rd best in the game, but it's pretty much 2nd best armor in the game right now. So I'm not going to be taking damage. Sell that. Yep, the ninja fight is exciting. That's a rocky screen. So to make up for some of my money, I'm gonna use a hardening potion on this sword here. Because that's a good way to make money, is to use hardening potions on swords. That's how you do the infinite money trick. Is you buy a stack of hardening potions and just keep putting it on swords. So here's a shop. Let's see. Let's use both. Those were backup. I do have to sell my sword. those are spare hardening potions, so it's a good time to use them. Okay, so I need 180 fire rings, because we're gonna kill them with fire rings. Let's drop stuff. Get every scrap of money. We good? Too short. Okay. Let's very quickly find 2 monies. Maybe I'll sell this chainmail. It doesn't sell for anything. Just sell that. And I'll remember to buy fire later. Okay, routing on the fly. Good stuff. So the task also does, it uses fire magic instead of fire rings. But fire rings don't cost mana. So that's why I'm going to use them instead. So I don't have to manage my mana at all. And so I can just throw all 180 fireballs at him. But then while I'm doing that, I'm going to be taking damage, and so I gotta heal it up. And that's what the 100 health potions are for. Buying 100 health potions actually comes up a lot in Brandish speedruns. Mostly because it's a good way to grind magic resist. But in this case, it's because I'm going to fight a long battle. Get some more backup money. Worst comes to worst, I can sell this and then go back to the shop. So it's 1 stack of invisibility to get through that floor, and 1 stack to get through the next floor. So this is full speed and scary. So the trick is to look at my incoming damage. If I see any 4s, I have to heal instantly. There's a lot of 4s. There. And I just finished him off with last of my rings because his health was low. Okay, so the reason we do that Like, that's not the centerpiece of the run, of the route. That's to get around a limitation of killing bosses with weapons. So I don't want to kill that boss with a weapon. I want to keep my strength low so I can raise my experience on a stronger enemy and do some of that gaining all of my levels at one time thing. Here's Dark Zone, it sucks. There's pits everywhere. Also level ups, but, you know. So when I get to Fortress 3, I'm going to raise my strength. Whoops. The level ups eat my inputs, so I'm trying to time it so I'm not pressing a button as I get a level up. Or, more accurately, pressing the button twice. So this here especially is a big maze. All of this floor is a maze. I'll bring it up in a second, and you'll see how much was skipped. Right. So all these squares are pits. So, like, easy maze. And all those pits drop you down to the previous floor, so you gotta redo that floor to get back up here. That's where it's fair to quit if you're casually playing this game and just not deal with it. Or bring up a map. The ninja is a fine final boss. The ninja is actually really tough on fastest speed. The normal way to fight him, I turn game speed to medium. So I want to put on my sword, I want to take off my armor. I want to buy fire magic. There you are. From here I'm out. I'm not gonna get hit anyway, so it's fine. Didn't mean to leave. There we go. It's like it never happened. See how many of these I get. Okay, 13. 13's a good number. I'm still gonna get the safety ones. I'm still leveling up. Okay, he moved. I still don't want to fight any enemies, because this doesn't give me maximum experience. And killing enemies isn't worth anything. It doesn't help at all to raise my max health or my mana bar. So let's talk about invisibility potions, now that I bought 130 of them. They make you immune to most damage, and enemies won't attack me. So that's why I bought 130 of them, because they're worth it. So quickly do this. Enemies don't show up on the minimap, so that's why it's valid to pick a warp destination that has an enemy on it, because the game doesn't know that there's something there. This floor is annoying, because normally you clear out all the enemies, but here I'm gonna leave them all throughout the floor. And so they can catch me when I warp. actually don't want that on. So, key goes in door. So that switch releases all these locked doors and also some eraser eye enemies. So now there's going to be enemies roaming the halls that go through walls and also erase my map as they pass it. But I'm done warping, so that doesn't really matter. And there's always one at the end right here. So that's what they look like. But like, if you're trying to navigate with the map, then it's very beginner unfriendly. Here I'm gonna take a death, because I don't have enough max health to survive a bit. And here's where the route comes together. So I'm gonna press the save button. And I'm gonna check my stats after too. This is 60 or so potions worth. Uh, 70. 70 is low. I'm gonna try that again. What am I starting at? 38. So here's what I'll do. I'm gonna take a level down. So that lowered my level, and this way I'll get more experience. Or I'll die. Oops. So there's an anti-stuck feature in the game, but the cost is you lose a level in every stat. So I just used it to lower my strength by 1. Yeah, this is just intense mashing the entire way. But I gotta alternate to use item, so it's not as simple as just mashing. Okay, so now we're 73. Don't kill me. And I hope the experience system makes sense now. I lost a level and it let me gain 3 levels. But yeah. So when you hit things, you gain experience, but it goes into a pool. Let's go on these. So I get a big pool of like 20 levels, it goes up to. And it gives out experience 1 per frame. Use fire here just because it's fun. Kill the enemies at the end of the hall. So it's giving out like 20,000 experience over 20,000 frames. But it treats you as having the lower level until you actually gain the level. So where the game thinks I'm a lower level, I'm gaining extra experience. And if you do it all at once, then you can get the extra experience bonus to last longer. And so this route is built around not gaining strength levels from tower to now. Do a quick text box to skip that first warp and save a second. There. And I need it now because I have a boss coming up. And this boss is very high defense. So I can take the sword. Why not? Put on the armor too. I'm not going to take any hits, but might as well put on the armor. There is a skip I can do here, but it costs a ring, and the final boss is incredibly difficult. I've been collecting revival rings, by the way. I think I have 4 now. There's a mean wall you gotta jump through. There's another one. The game gets mean, Dark Zone, and here. Okay, so here's another boss. Most routes are built around this boss. It's just a roadblock. You need your damage high enough to get through their defense. And unlike later bosses, you don't have enough. I mean, you haven't found double magic yet. Whatever. I've had enough of you. It's also a trolley boss. It dances directly diagonal to me just long enough for me to want to move. Then it sidesteps. Nice music though. Some of you who know the old route may be wondering where my luck pouch is. But I'm actually too low level for that to be helpful. Luck is a stat in this game that increases your damage range. And so when you have high luck, then you have a high plus damage modifier. But there's also a low luck side to that. I don't know how to describe it, but Like, you have a luck stat that increases with your level, and if you hit the cap of that, then you're doing really high damage. But if you're at the midpoint, then you're doing just regular damage, and under that you're doing less than normal damage. But at low level, you're pretty regularly at the cap, and so you're regularly doing the high damage. And so it works out to just being good damage. Whoops. Fat fingered. Does the duration of invisibility potions stack? It does. Here's some mimics. Let's kill them. So that's a strat you can only do with high intelligence. Normally you warp on top of them, like I have been doing. So invisibility potions stack to about 6 or 7. And it falls off per frame, but also depending on your animation that you're in. So if you're doing something, then it falls off slower. If you're just standing still, it falls off every frame. But it does stack. Here's a puzzle. Let's just jump down this pit. We're kind of nearing the end of the game. Let's take a heal. Here's the last maze-like floor. And it's actually really hard to figure out first time through, because they hide all the keys behind false walls. So like, here's a false wall right here, and it looks exactly the same as the one next to it. And you have to notice that to beat the floor. I don't think you can get small keys anywhere nearby. I got the 10 in that chest from where I did the grind. So. But other than that, I don't really know where to get them, other than the early floors. So I'm just collecting all the keys and making my way to the end. Route-wise, I have very high magic stat, so I'm going to have to skip double. And that's going to make the final boss a lot harder. So key. Switch these out. Double. I think it literally doubles your damage. But on the final boss, it acts differently. It's 50% increase instead. That's a good way to die. So the final boss can take 50% longer in this route. And that makes it one of the harder final boss fights of the routes. The glitched route is the easiest. I could talk about glitches for a bit, I guess. So glitches were newly found, like the start of this year. You can make text boxes in doorways. There it is. So there's the wrong warp, and that's if you use warp in a doorway, and you can go to a spot on your map that appears fine, and so it lets you do it, but then the actual warp happens on the next floor. And so you can do that to get out of bounds wherever you want. And that's one of the fun categories, is where you only do that glitch. Because then you still gotta do half the floors. Don't mind me just glitching. So those were all arrow tile traps. But don't worry about it. The bigger glitch is what the real any percent does. It's called the map copy. Down here. Whatever. So I'm gonna do the anti-stuck thing to get a corner warp again. Warp is disabled on this floor. I might get hit, actually. Okay. So map copy, it's when you save during a floor transition. And so it takes everything from one floor and overwrites it onto the next floor. And so that way you can duplicate items and you can corrupt the map and things like that. Let's be sure. So I'm going to cheese the fight by skipping it. Yeah, Dela died. This is the only category where I kill her, because I don't get double magic. Let's just drop that. So every time I do this, I'm getting level downs. This is a built-in function of the game, and not a major glitch. Perfectly valid. So yeah, with map copy you can duplicate items, and in that you duplicate all your revival rings. So you go into the final boss with a full inventory of lives. Get rid of that. So here's where the fun comes in. Instead of hunting down all the headless, I can just shoot them with fire magic. And now we've become the magic swordsman. Almost every other enemy is immune or reflex magic. Got him. Blue key. So here's final boss here. This might take a few tries. It's legit tough. I also fight at full speed. Pause for a few seconds so that the fireballs aren't lined up with me. But I got unlucky anyway, so. Bad level up. There's two reasons for fighting on fastest. One is because it's faster, and two is because on a slower speed, then I can get lag locked, and the game lags until the spikes kill me. Like, it lags their entire animation, and I just die to spikes. So fight's totally fair. This is all me playing bad. Kappa. And because of the route, it's 50% longer. We're doing better this time. No random fireballs to the back. On the plus side, there's not much rotating, so you can see what's happening. The camera doesn't rotate much. Green circles are teleport tiles. I can walk through them. This is what I call bad pattern. It's when he gets a circle in front of him the entire way across. That was a double fireball to the back. Not much I could do. Okay, survived it. Invisibility makes me immune to blue fireballs and the lasers. Okay. Good thing I was invis. I think he's close to dead, so he gets extra teleporters. Got it. So I was trying to clip through the teleporters as much as I could. But we did it. Okay, I'm gonna skip credits and show off this one room real fast. Okay, so here is a room. It's used for the New Game Plus glitch, and it's just outside of game bounds, just totally glitchy. And you get here by wrong warping and then messing with the warp destination. Okay, and that's it for this game. I'm gonna transition over to Brandish 2 now. Not quite as action-packed, but as a game, it's pretty, it's an improvement.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the last run of the marathon. We have Brandish 2 coming up right after this, so stay tuned for that. Just want to cover while we're doing a transition to, we have to do a recropping of Osse for the second run. So while we're doing that, I want to cover some events that we are going to be having on the Speed Gaming Network in the next, I guess the next couple months. We're going to have on the main channels here, around the main Speed Gaming channels, you're going to see a Super Metroid and Link to the Past combo randomizer tournament and a Super Mario World No Star World tournament. These are actually funded tournaments. We're going to have prize money in these tournaments. So those will be coming up. You can check, you can type !winter to get links to information about those. Similarly, we're going to have a couple German tournaments, an Ocarina of Time randomizer tournament, and Super Mario 64 are coming up on the German channel. And who knows, we might get the finals of those on the other channels as well. We don't know about that yet. We'll find out later. And French Steam World Dig and Super Metroid tournaments are coming up as well. Those are respectively at Speed Gaming DEU at I can't even spell DEUTSCH. I don't want to try saying that because I might butcher it. And at Speed Gaming Francais, respectively, is for those channels. And some other events that are coming up in the next few days that are already on the schedule here. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. These are not related to the marathon or SNES, but just other events. We have Super Mario Odyssey Darker Side Tournament. That recently started, and we have a race in that at 4 p.m. tomorrow on this channel, Speed Gaming. 8 p.m. tomorrow, we have a Metroid Zero Mission Any Percent tournament race. And those are a couple of main events tomorrow. In general, we also have the Link to the Past Randomizer Fall 2018 tournament. We have a lot of races going on those, and races being scheduled all the time for that. So keep an eye out for those if you like Link to the Past Randomizer. Tuesday, there's a Super Mario Galaxy race and a Zelda 2 randomizer. So Zelda 2 also has a randomizer that gets run periodically every week here. And other events on Wednesday and coming up over the week as well include the Messenger, Portal, and the Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer weekly race. There is another tournament, I think, being planned in the Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer as well, which I think is sometime in 2019. So for each of the individual events here, for any of those events, you can look up information on our schedule at www.speedgaming.org/schedule. You should be able to find information on those events there and anything else that gets scheduled. So with that said, I am Cyclone. I've been your host for the last 12 hours. And we're down to our final run. Brandish 2, Osse101. Good luck. Take it away with the final run of the marathon. Good night.
Alright, we're back. So let's just start this up. Hold on. I'm in the wrong file. I promised English.